Hello, everyone. And today we are going to debate alternative venues other than restaurant, bar, and lounge. Because if you go online now and Google hotels, you're going to find restaurants, bars, lounges, restaurants, bars, lounges, maybe two restaurants, two bars, one lounge. Like, we've fallen into a trap sometimes of just being same, 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 same. So, Bal, I thought today we could have some fun and share some cool examples, whether in hotels or currently, but maybe not, people haven't jumped on it, or whether it's in examples from independents that we could go, do you know what, actually, what a great space that would make in a hotel? Because let's face it, most hotels have a lot of retail space when it comes to food and beverage. So if
Mhm.
we're looking at certain concepts that we're going to talk about that might need 20 square meters of floor space, most hotels can do something like that. Most hotels could potentially find an outside entrance. And I just thought it'd be really cool to look at some different things, think about things differently, change mindsets, push boundaries, make people feel uncomfortable to go, do you know what? Next time we're looking at one of our hotels, why don't we do something a little bit different that gives a reason for the local community to treat it as a destination? So I think we can have some fun with this one.
Yeah, I think so. And like I know we spoke um a little while back and we were talking about this and we were talking about hotels in New York and Dubai. But there's one that springs to mind which is more recent in my memory and it's very unassuming. If you don't know it, you don't know it. But once you're there, you'll be impressed. And it was Manor House Lindley.
Mm, yeah.
They do have a lounge, they do have a bar, they do have a restaurant. Okay. So they have a rooftop, which is not really rooftop, it's amongst the roofs.
It's a cool
Very
space, right?
clever, right?
Mm.
And then they have the cellar.
Mm.
And if no one takes you there or shows you there, you're all just going to be intrigued what that sign is, right?
Yeah.
And then next door,
Do you know
they
what, on the cellar as well? I want to touch on the cellar. How cool would it be to have your mates watching the World Cup in that cellar?
oh mate.
Brilliant, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The GM there, Mark. Uh, Me and him used to go in the day. This is prominent now because of what's happening. Me and him used to go to Oasis together in the day, and I just love his quote that he's managed to get onto the wall from Supersonic as well. So yeah, yeah,
It's a
amazing.
great space. And
Yeah,
you know what? If you can't get tickets and you got shafted in the ballots or in them queues or Ticketmaster did you over, whatever it was, right? Hire that space out.
yeah.
And
Watch the Nebworth rerun.
yeah, watch the Never rerun. It's like he was saying it. Someone asked him, want to get my team here for the Euros and the final and all this sort of stuff. And yeah, and then sorry, we know we divulged a bit, but we can talk about football all the time. But if Liverpool and Leeds ever face each other this season, you know,
We're
that'd
on
be a
it.
great place.
We're on
That'd
it.
be a great place.
Definitely.
Being in Yorkshire, I've never watched a game. I've
Do
never
you know his
watched.
most famous guest?
Huh?
Do you know his most famous guest?
Who?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to stake my claim to fame now.
Go on.
We stayed in the room Samuel L. Jackson stayed in, just so
There you
you
go.
yeah.
Brilliant. There you
I was swearing lots when I came out that room.
go. What's
Not
your
that I
favorite
don't.
Samuel L. Jackson film?
Pulp Fiction.
Nice. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you know what mine is?
Go on.
51st States.
Yes.
I love that film.
Yeah, it's
He's
brilliant.
he's cool as ice in that film. Is brilliant.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Anyway, so coming back to Manhouse Lindley, they've got all the kind of normal things. We talked about the cellar. Go next door is where they do their venue weddings and stuff and events. And one looks like a wedding area, but done very tastefully. And then you go next door and you see the bar and it
oh,
spans floor to ceiling and you think you're in a London venue.
that bar
So
is stunning, isn't it?
it is stunning, right? And they want to make that a space where people just come off the street or go there to have drinks because there's not much going on in Huddersfield Town, right? So that really does come to mind. And what they've
Mm,
done with the space there and all their spaces, they're all interesting, done tastefully,
yeah.
kitted out well. The quality of work is exceptional,
Mm,
and they've thought about it. So
yeah.
it would have formed part of their strategy.
And as we've talked about before, each one has its own identity and
Yeah,
its own customer base that
yeah,
gives people a reason to visit, right?
yeah. So that is a hotel who does have all of the above, bar, lounge, restaurant, but have just gone taken it to another level and used their spaces
Nutshell.
really well. They can do 4 or 5 different big, large, small, intimate events at one time,
Mm,
providing they could staff it, of course, and it will all feel different.
yeah.
And it's all separate enough, isn't it? So
Yeah.
top, top, top brownie points to Mark and the team there.
100%.
You know,
You had a
really
great
good.
teacher, you know.
Huh? Who Mark did?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
don't
He had a
remember
good
who that
teacher.
was.
Anyway, back to the
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Back to the point. So what was the point? Ah, yeah.
Alternatives.
Different spaces.
Yeah,
Right. I'm gonna kick this one off. I'm
go
gonna
on.
kick it off today, right? I think there's a real opportunity for hotels to get involved in social entertainment. I think we see that meeting and events is a different landscape now than what was maybe there pre-pandemic, if we can use that naughty word. And we've got lots of space. And I think if you look at social entertainment um, as a sector, as a venue and a destination now, it's gathering real momentum. I think with some of the ones that are building now, F1 starting to endorse certain brands and things like that. I think there's a real opportunity to really bring people in and give a point of difference, especially if you've got things like basements with no windows and
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's just, yeah, I think
I couldn't
it's a
agree more.
sector that people should be looking at, and I'm sure it's the Nomad in New York that have got swingers down in the bottom as well, the golf social entertainment brand. And yeah, I think it's a huge opportunity.
Mate, I don't think you're wrong at all. And sticking with New York, another place I always like to stay at when we're in New York, the Hudson. They've got 2 or 3 distinct rooms. Yeah, one is used, doubles up as the breakfast kind of lounge cafe, you know, very simple bar where they do breakfast, and it flips in the evening. And if you've gone out in New York for a meal and then you come back to stay there, it is heaving.
Mm,
And they've curated a space in there where it's a club night,
mm, yeah.
and the escalators up there are pretty cool, kind of like not neon like you'd find on a boy racer car, but it's the
Mm,
green Hudson light that goes all the way up the escalator, and you're like, where is this going to?
mm,
And it's brilliant. And a lot of the Dubai hotels have that.
mm.
Um, and I think the alternatives don't really have to be the alternatives in the truest sense, because I think hotels and hoteliers need to probably be a little bit out the box and a bit braver with the space they already have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we did it in another episode where we were talking about the all day lounge, right?
Mm.
What about, your social entertainment?
Yeah, I mean,
Using them
again, this
spaces
is we're not
creative.
here saying it's for everyone, right? But
Yeah,
certain brands, especially some of these new lifestyle brands that are there, they've just got the opportunity to do something different
I
and
think
and
so.
and still fit in with the brands. Even the big branded hotels, thinking about like Canopy by Hilton's, the Moxies. I remember staying in the Moxie in New York, just amazing atmospheres that generate in those hotels because of the brand and the design and the atmosphere, the people that they hire for those spaces. And I just think there's like a huge opportunity to go, do you know what, let's put something really cool. And when we're looking at twofold, right? Bringing people in from outside is one thing. But how do you retain all those people that are staying with you? Because they naturally want to go out and venture out, especially if you're in a city like New York, London, LA, Dubai, something like that. Like, give them a reason. even if it's just we go downstairs, we have a quick thing of golf or a quick thing on the Formula One, we have a couple of beers to start the night or whatever it might be. Even if you capture that revenue, you're getting more, you're giving them more reason to stay and do those two things with you rather than go down to Barasti in Dubai or go out to one of the pubs in London or in New York. You go out to one of the bars there as well. And I think the social entertainment has got a real cool opportunity, especially if you're in a hotel where your demographic is largely driven with groups or people going there maybe on business trips and stuff like that, and they need a release at the end of the day. I think that's my kickoff. So I'm going to throw it back to you now. Give us an idea of what else we can do with F&B.
Well, it's not a hotel, but I'm going to throw this one out
Perfect.
there.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Brewdog Waterloo.
Yes. Yes.
Like, it's unassuming because when you're walking into Brewdog, you think, okay, I'm in a station,
Mm,
and then when you go in, you see this space. It is massive. It's
mm,
it's just so well thought of. Not just the layout of it, what they have there,
mm,
right? You can do conferencing there.
mm,
You can do small meetings there. You can do normal meetings there. You can do board meetings there. You can do podcast recordings there. You can section it off and have a little network meeting there. You
mm,
can do a big band.
mm.
You can have a full stage. You know what I mean? They got bar, they got
10-pin
different
bowling.
areas, section, they got coffee. It's
Yeah. Yeah. Slides from the top floor to the bottom floor to make it fun. Distillery. There's like little brewers in there, right? That's a
yeah,
great shout. Great
and you
shout.
know it's a brew dog. You know what I
Mm,
mean? You know it's a brew dog still because
yeah.
you never go like it's a pub. Let's go to brew dog. Let's go and have a beer. You know, that
Do you know
is
what I think they've cracked there is it is Brewdog, and I think you're at, like, for sure this is a great idea, and I think there's so much you can take from this, and I liken this in a way to the social hub a little bit because they do things it's very similar, but you know what I love about it is you go into a pub, but you can go there at 10 o'clock because there's a grind in there that's so separate that you could sit in that grind and not know that it was all part of the same thing.
yeah.
And I think they've just got that down to a T, how you've got this booze driven business that you wouldn't mind going to at 9 o'clock in the morning for a coffee that then leads into something for the rest of the day. And then your mates could come and visit you, or the team could hang out there. We hung out there for the day, and you got the bowling and stuff like that. I think you're absolutely right. I think this is again where, back to that restaurant bar lounge. I think, if you were to keep your restaurant for breakfast or a space for breakfast, and you were to build the F&B around this one outlet that's just got so many different opportunities for people to visit, like experience within it, I'm not sure that's a risk, especially if you have an entrance onto the street.
Yeah, and I know we're talking about meetings and conferences, and they've got podcast booths and they've got smaller meeting booths. It doesn't just have to be something on that scale or have all of the above. You can have a bit of that.
Mm,
We talked about the grind. I've had some messy nights in the grind and in Old Street. The Old Street roundabout, that grind,
mm.
how they flip that
Shoreditch, yeah,
space
yeah.
with the lights and with the music.
Mm,
So yeah, you may still just have the restaurant bar lounge, but it's how you flip that space and use it and change the ambience. So you're not saying, oh, turn one of your conference rooms into a nightclub or a multi-purpose event space. You don't have to,
yeah.
right? Especially if you're restricted by a budget.
Mm, mm.
You can
So
just
true.
like design it in a way, and that's what it becomes. The standard King's
Mm,
Cross
yes.
breakfast meeting, and then they got a
Mm,
DJ booth, which is a podcast booth.
mm,
And then they
yeah.
utilize the whole of that building really, really well.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, it's about just like stepping back, saying, where are we? Would the country manor hotel would that work? Because you're out in the sticks. Don't know, but you may have a small captive audience, depends how busy it is. But if you're certainly one of these city hotels and a popular hotel with a few hundred rooms, come on, man.
Well, this is it. I mean, it's just that opportunity to do something different in a saturated landscape, right? And it's yeah, is it a risk? Maybe. Is it doing something different? Maybe. I would argue that as a hotel, you're going to get far much more press and awareness by doing something there. And I remember when Brewdog first did it, and everyone was like, "It's never going to work. It's too big," and it's booming.
Works.
And like I just remember all the time, like at the start when they used to have people going down the slide and taking videos, going, "This is what you're going to get," and it was the slide that used to drive the awareness on socials because who puts a slide in a bar? Like it's just so I think what I see as my like takeaway from the Brewdog thing, and I think this is a great shout, is when you walk into Brewdog, they just don't take life too seriously. Someone's sat there and gone, let's put some temping bowling in there because people who are having a beer will love temping bowling. Or how can you get from the top floor to the bottom floor? Yeah, so you can do the stairs. Why don't we just put a slide in there?
I did,
Like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying we go put slides in hotels. Maybe we're doing the right thing, but it's the whole piece around guests having an experience, guests having fun, and back to what like some of our mantra is: how do you create those moments that your guests want to go and tell the people they love the most and say, let's go to Brewdog because we can all
Yeah, they're
have a
raving
beer and we
about.
can go down the slide
Yeah,
and we can have some temping bowling, and they bring people back. And it's that bit
yeah.
of excitement and curiosity now that I think there's a real opportunity, especially as I was saying before, with some of these lifestyle brands, fits in with it perfect. And I think that's a great shout. I haven't been like to some of the other ones that look similar, things like the Vegas one and stuff like that. But you can only imagine what some of these are like. And yeah, I think that's a great shout. I think that's a great shout. So
Yeah.
my next one on this would be I think there's an opportunity for hotels to get more involved in memberships. And what I mean by memberships is a few things. Is listen, you've got Soho House there, right? As probably one of the most successful or renowned membership businesses going. They've obviously digressed into kind of Soho Farmhouse and things like that. But I think there's a real opportunity for hotels to really look at whether it's co-working spaces or whether it's similar that they can get their membership in, they can get that solid subscription based model in there where they're not having to fight for business all the time. They really focus on delivering great experience, delivering value to guests that keeps them coming back again and again. And you know what? If they give away maybe two or three conference rooms, two or three smaller conference rooms, maybe they're not fighting for business all the time. They're not fighting for meetings and events all the time because they've got those people in there. And it's fun. I was in Soho Works with to meet a client the other week, and that format of going in there, you've got everything that you need, table heights, all that stuff that we talked about in the all day dining thing. But then you have like great baristas, a beautiful buffet that you can like lunch salad buffet that you can go and get food. But you can go outside and get something if you want a bit of difference. There's a cricket downstairs and stuff like that. I just think there's an opportunity here to go, do you know what? If meeting and events is challenging, if meetings are getting smaller, if meetings are looking for different things, how can we maybe offset some of that and look at some of this membership based stuff as well that can really help put solid revenue on the bottom line month after month rather than having big sales team having to go out and try and fight for business all the time. What do you reckon?
No, I think it's a brilliant idea because then you're working not on business development so much, yeah, and you know how hard that is, how hard it is to get people to fill them conference rooms week in, week out, day in, day out, and then everything that comes with it, right? The telly, the projector, the consumables that go with it. They'll still be there, but I guess there wouldn't be that much of a big need. And also, then the real focus is how now we got them here. How do we now add value?
Yeah.
How can we step up the coffee? How does that lunch look for this meeting, which is a group? How did that lunch look throughout the whole day? How do we change that food offering? I don't know, one of our clients um in Surrey, they have a cafe, you know, that type of space with a similar type of food offering for a membership-based model that can flip all day, all the way through to the evening. So then that's what you're focusing on. You know, you're focusing on cool, creative stuff. You're not, breaking your head because you've got revenue, solid revenue month in for a set period, which you know you're safe.
Well, and let's look at that
Operating.
Soho House model, right? Like I went to meet the client there. We had a meeting in one of their meeting rooms. He paid for it because it's on top of the membership, but we were doing a presentation, so he needed to do it. So that's incremental revenue on top of his membership. I think it's like 200 quid in Soho Works. We did the presentation, and afterwards he was like, "Do you want to go for a drink?" So we went out of Soho Works into Soho House. We went up to the rooftop and we sat there for a drink. And then actually it was convenient. It was a lovely night. So it was like, okay, let's have dinner. So we had some dinner. We had another couple of drinks and that was it. So not only do you get that subscription monthly based piece where those people are coming back again and again and again, but you're the first place that they think of when they want to book a meeting room or they go for drinks after work because the part of you, the part of your membership, it's what's driving them. And I just think again, like we're talking about a big name, but I think there's micro opportunities for hotels to potentially look at
I
some
think
of
so.
that and go, do you know what? Is there opportunity? Because Soho Works in the old television centre in London. It's no different to a all day dining lounge, but with seats that you can work at, a couple of single booths, things like that. So you've got the meeting room space anyway. Our clients, the Social Hub, have kind of built this nicely where they've got a co-working space tagged on and it all kind of fits in seamlessly. You see them all in the grab and go concepts and stuff like that at lunchtime. And I just think there's opportunity again to kind of go, okay, do we lose one or two rooms in banqueting, but create this space that we can provide and we still have the meeting rooms and actually it's a much more stable opportunity, or do we just keep doing what we've always done and keep fighting for that business and go from there?
Yeah, look, they made it easy for you to stay there.
Mm,
It was so easy. You had your meeting because that's why you went there.
yeah,
And then everything else, you could have gone to an untold number of places
yeah,
across the road near Westfield, in Shepherd's Bush. You could have gone into town. You could have, you got millions of options, but it was
yeah,
so easy to stay there
yeah.
because they got everything there and the offering's good and it's a great space and they've used this space as well. And you feel cool on the rooftop, right? The terrace. So that's what I think they've got right. They've got the membership, the model's great. So the strategy is brilliant, the offering's solid, and you've got add-ons.
Yeah, yeah.
Add-ons. And people understand this is what I get with my membership, but this is what I have to pay for.
Mm,
Then as a consumer, you're like, oh, especially if you've not been to Soho House before,
mm,
and just imagine how that can flip you into a potential and then one day a
mm,
subscriber.
100%. So yeah. So I think we've got three good options there. I don't know about you, but I think listen, they're out of the box. They're a little bit different,
Yeah.
changing mindsets, but I think each of them have great opportunities. And there's still a couple of others that I think we probably could have talked about, but we'll save those for another day, because I think that's enough for people to be going on about and wondering whether there's an opportunity in new build city centre hotels. I think it primarily is what we've focused on this time, but maybe we should do something on country house hotels and how they might be able to look at some bits differently. Because again, I think there's definitely opportunity
I,
there as well,
I think we can. I think we can. We got a few examples of that, I guess.
for sure.
Yeah, it'd be
Right,
good.
nice
Yeah.
one. All right, so we're off to go do some work now because we can't sit here and
I
talk
thought
about all these
this
nice
was work.
places we visit. Well, yeah, some people might say that, right? Listen,
Yeah.
thank you very much for listening, everybody.
Welcome.
Keep checking into these. If there's something that you'd like us to cover, um, drop it in the comments, or we've got our social LinkedIn profiles on the show notes. If you listen on podcast, get in touch with us on there and say, "This is Scot Bal. can you chat over this for 10, 15 minutes and give us your experience, and we'll definitely do it. So there we go, Bal. Have a great afternoon, and yeah, thanks everybody, and we'll see you again.